Hey everyone, thanks for tuning in for today's video. And today's video is going to be on Web 2.0 tools presented by me, Bree, with Let's Talk Tech. So let's go ahead and get into today's topic. What is a Web 2.0 tool? A Web 2.0 tool is an interactive, collaborative, multi-purpose. Most of them are simple, some can be a little bit complicated, but most of them are free digital platforms that are used for sharing and creating projects, creating multimedia projects and media itself, um, products that learners can use to basically enhance their online learning experience. It encourages teamwork, high level thinking, and it definitely fosters creativity because Web 2.0 tools give you the interactive, I guess, foundation for students to have a base and they just bloom and blossom and create from that base whatever they need to make their, I guess, end result complete. All right, what are some benefits of Web 2.0 tools? Again, it fosters collaboration. Students are active participants in their own learning, fosters teamwork. It definitely enhances the technology use and ultimately builds technology skills. I cannot stress that enough. The more you use technology, the more you mess up, the more you know how to fix what you do, the more you learn gateways and paths. And that's kind of how I got into technology. I lived in a household with older people, and they didn't have the patience to figure out what was wrong with the computer. So, guess who had to figure it out? Me. And where I'm at today, I love technology. I can just about figure out anything. It might take me a couple of days, but I'm going to figure it out. Anyway, back to the benefits. It shows that learning can be fun and engaging. Ease of usage. It allows students to use different types of media and technology for different learning purposes, which keeps the learner engaged in their learning process. It is flexible with Web 2.0 tools. Most of them are accessible from anywhere on the web, long as you have an internet connection. And now with some Web 2.0 tools, you can actually use them offline. So, there are those benefits. They're greatly beneficial to students, especially those who may not have 24 access to internet. What are some challenges? Lack of technology knowledge and skills. It can definitely be frustrating, even for educators, and sometimes even for me learning new technologies. It's definitely frustrating. So it takes time to get used to and learn a new platform. It can be discouraging, but that's why, your learners have you there to cheer them on. And you have your mentors there to cheer you on. Hopefully, your educational technologist in your school or your IT department or your administrators or whoever is there to be your mentor. Hopefully, you have them to keep you going, give you that push you need. Because even for educators, again, technology can be difficult. It is difficult. It's just difficult. I mean, it is what it is. Learning and fostering collaboration. It's hard to foster online collaboration. It's hard to get people online to interact with each other, and it's hard to keep learners motivated online, especially when it's so flexible. People will put it off and say, "Oh, I'll get to it at this point," and then that day comes and nope, I'll push it back to this point. So it can be some challenging aspects to fostering that learning and online collaboration when using 2.0 tools, but I promise it gets better as you use it more. And there's online resources for educators to get tips and tricks for how, they foster that collaboration in their online learning environments. Um, Learning how to manage content and knowing what to look for. So it is hard to keep all those resources. I did one video on online bookmarks, so you can keep track of what you are using for each subject matter or each project. You can keep those links together for your online web quest. If you have 6 different links for maybe each project that you want to do or each virtual quest that you want to do, you definitely need to have a location to store those so you don't lose those links, and you can always provide those to your students. Those are things that can be difficult to know what to look for, but trust me, Google is going to be your best friend. I use Google for just about everything that I don't know. And authorship. It's hard to teach students not to plagiarize. I mean, it's blatant, but certain students still do it. Even in some of my classes, I've experienced where, luckily, I'm most of the time the project manager or the leader in a group. So I go over everything, and I can kind of tell from me talking to this person and working with this person what their level of intelligence is and how they talk versus how they write. So at one time I got like a guy who, he was a fairly intelligent person, but what he gave me was not what I know he presents, how he is, how he talks. So I put the whole excerpt in Google, and it came up for somebody totally different. I mean, he just copied the whole thing. And I was like, dude, you can't do this. If I wouldn't have went over this and double checked this, we would have got, our whole team would have got in trouble for plagiarism. So it's definitely hard to kind of get your students to know how to reword things, how to make them their own, how to use citations. And, as an online educator, you just have to kind of give those resources for them, to better prepare themselves on how to use the online resources, but make them your own and repurpose them and not plagiarize. So some Web 2.0 tools, we have Edmodo, course management system. My favorite is Edmodo, sorry. You have Flip Drive for those who have, depending on what your subject is, you can securely store your files, backup files if you need to. EduBlog, it's a free blog for teachers, researchers, and librarians. It's a great resource for you to look for information on different topics, and it doesn't always have to be certified. Put a stamp on it. Some resources that teachers provide or researchers provide, it's still good information, and you just have to teach your students what to look for when they're looking for information, and to know, okay, is this a good resource? Is it copyrighted? Those things like that. Hit Tasks is a calendar activity tracker, so you can stay on top of your tasks, for what you want to do in your lesson plan, what you want to do each week, knowing how to prioritize maybe your schedule. These are Web 2.0 tools, are not just for our students or for our learners. They're for us as well, to help us better prepare and better organize our online learning environments. Bitly, it shortens links for teachers who send like so many links. And it also tracks how many of your students clicked on the links. So you can know, like, hey, I sent out these links. I know everybody hasn't read this, or I know everybody hasn't looked at this. And this is vital for you to know with completing this project. You can kind of keep track of those things. Zoho is an office suite, alternative to Microsoft Office for those who maybe cannot afford, Microsoft Office, or don't have the means or access to Microsoft Office. We have alternatives. Badge Stacks delivers badges to students once they master a skill. So this is a great way for people who have those type of subjects, or individuals who teach in those type of subjects. If you want your students to for your students who need to kind of have an online portfolio of what they do, this is a great tool to use. Once they master a skill, they get those badges. And this might be good for applying to a certain middle school or private school or program. You say, hey, not only do I have my education, I have my grades, but I also have this separate portfolio of skills that I've mastered. And that might be something that's fun for your students. And, you know, it gives them a sense of pride in their work that they're doing. Fun Brain, interactive games for various subjects teachers can do in their classrooms and in their online environment. Bubble.us, brainstorming and class discussions. I've actually used that before. It's really simple and nice for brainstorming, especially when you have large projects or you need to do papers. It gives you kind of an online space to use those versus writing it down on a sheet of paper and then you're like, where's this paper that I did? Or your students like, well, I did all my brainstorming, but I lost it. They can put it on here, send you that link or submit that link so it's there and it's a part of maybe your grading system, or it's a part of, you know, your checks and balances to making sure your students are doing what they're doing along the project that you're giving them. Schoolology is another one. It shares instructional resources and allows educators to connect with other instructors. Again, Web 2.0 tools aren't always for the students. They benefit us teachers sometime as well. Survey Builder, pretty simple, create and manage online surveys. This is good for if you want feedback on your projects or feedback on your class. I do say in online courses, you should definitely be asking for constant feedback, maybe once a week, once every 2 weeks, so you can know what you're doing for your students, what's working, what's not working, so you don't continue down that path the rest of your online course and then your students aren't getting what they need out of it because you haven't checked in with them. And that's really big in online environments. Feedback is imperative, or imperative. Woo. Digo or Digo, I don't know how to pronounce it. Digo, I guess that's how you pronounce it. It's an online bookmarking tool where students can use for keeping their links in one places for their classes, or for you even as an instructor, for you to keep your links in one space to share to your students. I know I've talked about that in one of my other videos as well. Web 2.0 tools, there are plenty of categories that you can look up for. Tools for collaboration, you know, Google Web 2.0 tools for presentations, again, bookmarking, gamification, programming. In one of my courses, I did an assignment where I had to go through and learn how to code. But it was a game that taught you how to code. And I'm telling you, it was so cool because by the time I got to like level 17 or 18, you know, I didn't even really have to go back and look at the code. I remembered it because it takes you step by step and you build a knowledge base. I mean, it was awesome. And I did it in my master's program, and even me as a master's student, I was impressed and I was like geeked, like, man, I need to go back and learn how to program. I mean, I know how to program a little bit, but this was like Java or .NET or something. It wasn't something that I had got deep into into a programming language, but it made me want to go program because I'm like, this is really cool and it's really neat, and you're programming a game to do what they're telling you to do. So that's even more interactive because I was excited about creating a game and I was learning how to code at the same time. You have collaboration tools for grading, for timing, for creating pre-purposed lesson plans that you can share with other instructors, you know, and do collaborative things with. Web 2.0 tools for e-learning, for those online management systems, for organization, public content management, and tools for storage. I mean, there are so many different tools that fit so many different categories. It does take time to research those, and it does take time to go through them because you have to see which tools work for you. Every Web 2.0 tool that you come across will not benefit you. It does take time to use it and say, well, I don't like this one, or okay, I'm going to see how this one is, but I'm going to try another one, because some work better for others depending on the person and depending on the subject and other factors that might go into your online learning environment. So thanks for tuning in, everyone. That was a short video on Web 2.0 tools, and Stay tuned for our next video.